besties, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kyan and this is Kyan is Booked. We're talking all things slow burn romance today. So full confession for those of you who are new, I used to be a slow burn romance hater, and not even, okay, let me back up. Not a hater, I just more of like, I don't like slow burn wasn't my thing, but fast burn wasn't either. I'm like more of like a middle of the road kind of girl, right? So for like the longest time, I just really avoided slow burns because I was just like, okay, bro, like what is taking so long? Like y'all are playing too much type situation, right? So recently, I'd probably say within the last like year or two, I've really started to like come to appreciate the slow burn and like the building of the relationship and just like the goodness that can come from like letting characters like really come together and, you know, be with each other. So I picked 8 books, and as you saw by the thumbnail, it's all across the board. So alien romance, fantasy romance, we have some sci-fi in here, we have contemporary. So on this one, I'm kind of going to give you an idea of like, is it a series, is it a standalone? I'm pretty sure I picked all series. I'm a series girly at heart. Like I love a good series, like a good interconnected standalone series. Perfection. So we're going to talk about some that you've seen me talking about recently that I will forever rec, and then kind of ones that like I read a little bit ago, but I definitely think about them. And I think that they're really good picks for some people. And yeah, no, I'm just really excited because I think this is like a kind of like a fun list, one that kind of, like I said, like goes across the board. So we're kicking it off strong with Dark Fever, which is book 1 in the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. And this follows Michaela Lane, aka Mac, and she heads over to Ireland to avenge her sister's death. Little does she know that she's going to end up in a very magical world full of fae and humans, and she is the key to a lot of problems and a lot of answers that are happening within this magical world. And she's going to meet this man named Jericho Barons, and they're going to go on this really, really crazy adventure. And it's slow burn goodness. It's all of the things that we love from like a paranormal romance. It's that broody, I don't even like, broody's not even a good word. Grumpy's not a good word for him either. But this like bookshop owner who could care less about this like little 18-year-old girl who's going to come over to Ireland and like solve all of the world's problems just like her sister's murder. Yeah, okay, bro. And I absolutely love the series. I actually just did a series Saturday on it, so I'll definitely link the video here if you really want some more information and kind of like some more insight into it. But this book is 11 books, and it does follow Michaela, Mac, and Barons. There is 1 or 2 books that follow one of the side characters, but it's integral to like the overall plot. Enemies to lovers, paranormal, there's a really like super intricate magic system, and like I said, like in the series Saturday, like this is a book series that like I don't spend a lot of time talking about, and I really should because it's so good. So Dark Fever. Next up, and I have a special Fairy Loot edition now too, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I'm just saying, anyways, stunning. I definitely, there's a book haul I just did, so you could find it, and if I remember to, I'll link it, but it's so pretty. Anyways, we're not here to talk about like how pretty the book is, even though, okay, so this follows Rave and Khan, and how do I explain this without, like, I don't want to spoil it. So essentially, she's an assassin fighting for the rebellion, and she realizes her mind doesn't remember her past accurately. So Khan knows her past, Rave is pretty sure she knows her past, but along the way and along this adventure, like she realizes like who she is and who she is like overall to this kingdom and the rebellion itself, and like the role and intricacies that she plays. And it's like the banter is so good, but like this is eloquently written. Like it is a beautiful story of like 2 people, and the burn is just there, and like there's a lot of like angst that builds up to it, and like we get the angst in the flashback scenes as well, and it's just like this really beautiful story of like 2 people that you truly believe like are meant to be together. This is book 1 in the Moonfall series. The next book doesn't come out till I think it's October 7th, 2025. I was devastated when I found out how long we had to wait, but like I need time to recover from this one. It is like without a doubt like infinity stars to this book, and it honestly is like one of the most beautiful books I've probably read all year. and I couldn't recommend it to you enough, especially if you like that slow build in a slow burn romance and like in a relationship between two characters. Like, okay. Next up, we have Spark of the Everflame, which is book 1 in the Kindred Curse series by Pink Hole. So this is the indie edition. You can't get it anymore. Anyways, let me stop. So it's a 3-book series, soon to be 4. We are waiting on the release date for book number 4, like still kind of up in the air. I'm kind of hoping she comes out with something here soon, but I do know she's on a tour right now because she released the traditional books. I don't know if Bloom did it or not. I don't know. Anyway, so traditionally published Spark of the Everflame. So this follows Diem, and she believes she has no magic. So she's basically, you know, like, okay, cool, like I'm gonna be a healer, like I'm not gonna not amount to anything, but like in my kingdom, like I am gonna live on this part over here, and like I'm looked down upon because I don't have magic, but I'm gonna go take care of the king who's dying of a human disease, and like magic can't save him anymore, and I'm gonna meet this like prince, but like he's kind of a jerk and like super prickly, and like I'm over him, and like I'm gonna fight for the rebellion too because I think that's what I'm supposed to do. But oh wait, what if there's something more here? Diem and Luther, like Luther's just like the broody like prince who should take over, like the next heir, has been training his entire life, has all these expectations put on him, and like the tension and everything between them is just so delicious. And Diem isn't even sure if she likes him at first, and she accuses him of like killing her mom, and so that really just kind of starts things off on the wrong foot. But I did really enjoy reading this book, and I did really like the slow build of their relationship. I thought it was beautifully done. Okay, so this one is like one of my personal favorites, and I really wish more people would read it. But it's book 1 in the Curse of the God series, which is Trickery. I have the special edition. Is this fake, right? Yeah, I believe this is fake, right? Anyway, so I have the fancy special editions, and this is book 1, and this is Trickery, and this follows Willa, who is a dweller, which is like essentially like a slave in this time frame. And she is like sent to the school where like you can go and like work for the people who like have magic, and like they're kind of, ooh, this is fun. Anyways, so they're kind of like the higher ups, etc., right? And you have the Abcurse brothers, and there's 5 brothers, and they're gonna be like, they have like the strongest magic, like as close to like a god as you can get, have like unbelievable powers, and like she ends up like cleaning their rooms, and like they end up getting to know her, and it's just like really like, Willa's hilarious. Like she's one of the funniest female main characters I've ever read. And like I honestly sometimes think about this book and like think about the story sometimes, and I just think, oh man, I should definitely like reread that because Willa's just so funny. Anyways, so this is a why choose, so she is gonna end up with like all 5 of the brothers eventually, but there's like so much tension and so much of like, so she's believed to be a slave and a dweller, right? But she's the key to like their power and unlocking like more of their power, but like they shouldn't be able to unlock power if like she doesn't have power, right? So like really it's like their journey of like becoming one unit, becoming one family, like trying to figure out who she is in like the grand scheme of things, and like understand like if she has power, like what that power looks like, right? So this is really great magic system, hilarious female main character, protective male main characters. I love the male main characters in here. Very much like a fated mates aspect as well, because like and if you're not laughing, then like it's probably like a sweet moment, or like Willa hasn't opened her mouth to like ruin the moment. But no, it's really great, and like I absolutely love the series, and it has such a special place in my heart. It's written by Jamie and Eve and Jane Washington, and if you haven't read it yet, even if you're like not a big slow burn fan, like I still highly recommend it, especially for people who are like just getting into like reverse harem or why choose. Like it's a really good like intro series. The next one I'm going to talk about, like I read this back in 2020. I haven't gone back and reread it, but it's been about 4 years, and I definitely like, I'll see this on my shelves and I'll think about the story, because like it's one of, like in my opinion, as somebody who like does not have Asperger's, I think it does a really good job of helping somebody who is trying to understand a disability, because I definitely looked at like how I interacted, like especially with my students who are diagnosed with Asperger's differently, because you know, like just like little tics that they may have, or like different ways that like they may talk in conversation, is not necessarily something like they can control, or they're like, they know they should, but like they don't have the impulse control. So it was definitely something like, I think this was very well written, and I think it was a really great way to kind of like, I don't want to say dumb down, because like I don't think that's what they're supposed to do, but like really like bring awareness to how this affects somebody who has Asperger's. So that's the Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. And this follows Stella and Michael. And it's a 3-book series. There's 2 more books after this one. I do have all the book of the month ones because I wanted them all to match. And I wanted the hardcovers. Anyways, this is fake relationship / dating, opposites attract. And it's like love and dating advice or lessons. So essentially Stella is really great with numbers, really great with logic, like really great with anything that is logical or like follows a pattern, but she's not so great at understanding people, which is something that is like super prevalent when like you start to meet her and she starts to interact. And it's not like I said that she's trying to do it intentionally, but she just like doesn't understand like interpersonal communication and like emotional communication, just whoop, right? So she hires Michael, who is an escort, and she's like, hey, like, I need to understand, like, how to be intimate. Like, I need to understand, like, how to go to dinner and, like, not embarrass myself. I need to understand, like, how to tamp down this part of my personality, or, like, would somebody care about this part of my personality? So it's, like, this really beautiful love story of, like, him starting out with, like, helping her understand Asperger, like understand like how to manage her Asperger's in a social setting, to him understanding like, I've actually fallen for this girl, and like how to navigate that. So I thought it was super beautiful. Like I do remember, like I read this when my mom had her knee replacement surgery done, and it's like I was up like 24/7 basically, because it was a time. But I remember like just sitting on the couch like while she slept on her pain meds, like crying, because like there's just so many like raw moments in this book where like Stella's like, I'm trying so hard and I just don't understand why like I can't get this right, or like why I can't get people to like me. And I was just like, oh, and like just how endeared to her Michael is, and like just how beautiful like that relationship, like once it moves from fake and once it moves from lessons to like, wow, like we're 2 people who really like each other, like how beautiful that burn is. And it's just like, I need to go back and reread it so that I can read the next 2 books. But if you're kind of like really looking for like that fake dating and that representation, and like, you know, if you like the idea of, you know, like love lessons or like dating lessons, like I definitely think this is like a really, really good pick for you. Okay, let me flip my notes. I didn't want to forget anything. And plus like, anyways. All right, so next up I have Ashes of You by Catherine Cowles, and this is the 5th book in the Lost and Found series, and I have like the really cute classics cloth cover editions that she just did, and they're like, honestly, they're so pretty, and they're signed, and like, anyways, that's not what we're here for. So this is the 5th book in the Lost and Found series, and this follows Lawson and Haley's story. And this is, so in the prologue we read Haley's been kidnapped, and she gets away, but like she can't find civilization, and she can't find somebody, and like she's out in the cold, and it's snowing, and it's like winter time, and like she's gonna die if she stays outside, right? So she stumbles upon Lawson, and Lawson essentially saves her life and is able to like medvac her out and like get her to a hospital and get her reunited with her family, right? So this is like 5 or 6 years later, and Lawson is a single dad of 3 boys, and he desperately needs help at home, right? So he's been interviewing for a nanny, and she's really, really great with kids, and she's like, oh my gosh, like, let me go ahead and apply for this. She never got the name of the officer who helped her, so she had no idea that like it was going to be him, and he had no idea that it was going to be her, because he tried really hard to like walk away from that case, but it was like one of the ones that like was very difficult for him to leave behind because of how traumatic it was. And I mean, this is a serial killer, like kidnapping women and all of that. So she gets hired on as a nanny, and like he is kind of helping her heal from like her trauma, but like she's helping his family heal, because, you know, like now you have this like maternal presence almost, like you have somebody there all the time, like she understands the different side of the kids, like the kids love her, and like there is nothing like more attractive to me than like a man who just like loves his kids and will do anything for his children. Like that's who Lawson is. And this is like a deep burn because it's an age gap and it's like, you know, they have a past type situation. He's like, I can't ever get married again because like I messed up with my first wife, who's the mother of all 3 of his children. And like, I can't go there again. But there's just this undeniable, like beautiful chemistry between the 2 of them. And it is such a great story. You could read this as a standalone, but I highly recommend like the entire series because like it follows like an overarching plot and like you just appreciate Lawson and Haley's happily ever after like so much. So we have like Touch Her and Die, Serial Unaliver, Misconnection, Single Dad, Age Gap, Nanny. So basically like everything we love in a good small town romance. So that's Ashes of You. Next up, I couldn't not give some respect to my Hor Kings. So Captive of the Hor King is the first book in the Hor King series by Zoe Draven. And this follows Luna and Archon. And essentially what happens is like the humans live on Dakar, which is the Hor King's planet because we've destroyed Earth at this point. And Luna's brother does something stupid and like lights the fields on fire. And like, you're not allowed to do that as a human. So he comes, the Hor King comes, Archon comes, and Luna gives herself up in place of her brother, right? And he's immediately attracted to her, but the problem is like, there's a lack of communication between the 2 of them because like he speaks another language and there's supposed to be a translator, but the translator's not working. So like they just can't understand each other. And he's like really attracted to her, like believes that they're fated to be together, like ready to make her his queen. And she's like, I don't know what's happening. So you have like a little captor-captive situation, even though she kind of gave herself up, but like whatever. You have sci-fi, fantasy, romance, very protective MMC because like he knows that like he's going to do whatever he can to make her his queen. And she better get on board, essentially is what's happening. So I highly recommend this entire series. Some of them are slow burns, others of them are fast burns, but majority of them like really take the time to build the relationship between the human female and then the Hor King that the book is featuring. I don't even care if you're tired of me. If you haven't picked up Blood and Steel, which is the first book in the Legends of Thesmar series, I don't know how to help you. I don't know what's going on. The tension between Wilder and Thea is absolutely insane. Like the fact that he is one of the most protective main characters that I've ever read. The fact that I'm still obsessed with him, like the Touch Her and Die, I will do anything for her vibes are completely off the charts in this book. It is a beautiful story about how Thea is like, I don't care about prophecies. I don't care anything. Like I'm going to be a Warzord and I'm going to be the best Warzord on the planet. And literally Wilder, who's already a Warzord, who had a thing against women, he like looked at her and goes, you know what? I'm 10 toes down behind you, babe, and I'll do whatever I need to do for you. And the tension between the 2 of them and the banter and like the fighting that if Wilder Hawthorne has no fans, he has me. And I will never stop talking about this series, and you can expect to see it on my channel a lot more because I wait till I get, because they're doing the other 3 books, special editions of this. So wait till I get the other 3. And I'm just going to start holding up a different one in every book. I mean, every like thing. But no, honestly, like if you're looking for slow burn tension and like a really like beautiful world building on top of like, you know, this is like epic fantasy story, then I highly recommend Blood and Steel, which is the first book in the Legends of Thesmar series. Okay. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you're loving the rec videos. I'm having a great time going back into my Goodreads and like finding some recs that like aren't super popular right now, or recs that people haven't like heard a whole bunch about. So that's it for me today. Be sure to comment below if you see any of your faves or any ones that like pique your interest that you're gonna start reading. And be sure to subscribe because I have a lot of like really fun content coming out for the rest of Vlogtober, but then also too, like I still post videos the other 11 months of the year. So love to have you as part of this little community of mine. And I hope that you are, wherever you are, you're having a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.